Hi guys, Delek here. So I'm going to be working on the Magellani. Now I've got a few units done. I've got the core basics done. And so hopefully I'll have time and I can go through and make flush the units out. So the leaders are really pretty easy to do. So we want my main rule book up so I can make sure I'm looking at it right. Yeah. So let's see, what do I need to look at? Oh, right, the unit types. And we'll just leave that around so I can look at it. But basically, these are grunts and infantry. All right, and then let's look over at the table here. So it's at the bottom of this document, but I also have a copy of it over here. So now remember, these guys don't cost anything. Basically everybody gets really the same thing. So it'll be medium Chitin, which is a 5+ armor save. And then let's see. We probably want a pistol of some sort. Let's see here. I'm just looking through my other thing to see what I did. Yeah, just a pistol. I think that's all that they get, all they're rated for. I just want to make sure what the pistol does, so I'm not making mistakes. Yeah. So definitely going to be an anti-infantry weapon. So probably Venom Blaster. Yeah. So that makes it a controller where it can pass its leadership on to other units. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I'd actually want to give it. Honestly, I don't think that there is. At least not off the top of my head. It doesn't need the exceptional trait of leader because it already is a leader. So, okay. So I haven't really decided what I'm going to do if there's going to be monster leaders. Now, odds are it's going to be, instead of this, you have that, right? So I'll read you the wording of what I did on the other one. Nope, not champions. There we go. All right. So with this one, so we'll do up to 1 leader per 500 points being played. Down. Oop. May be upgraded to a They don't really mount. Well, I could say they're mounted, but I don't want to say that. So I'm trying to figure out how I want to say it. Because, trying to make it so that people can mount in monsters when effectively monsters are vehicles, right? We'll just say mounted for now, and I'll figure it out later. Okay, I have to add that later. All right, let's save that and then paste that. All right, and that's fine. I can clean that up later. And then I'll just figure out which units I want them to be part of later on. And so basically what it lets you do is you can have a monster be a leader in your army, just as other armies can use their specific tanks or walker models. You can use the monsters. Now, there's behemoths, there's flitters. Those can't be leaders because the game doesn't function with them that way. Behemoths are too powerful because that means that basically you can put your highest value leader into that and it'll never die. Also, the leader that you use, it's something that has to be put into the rules, but basically the leader that you use has to have the same leadership. Now, everybody has generally like a 2,000 point game. They have 2 of every leadership level, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are no 10s for you to mount in, so you can't make your army leader be a monster. Okay, but you could do a senior, commander like a major or whatever equivalent rank, like a leadership 9, or you could have a captain leadership 8, or you could have a corporal leadership 7. But it would have to match that. Okay, and that's not written here, but that's something that I will write, just because it's something that's necessary. So, anyway, so let me just go down here. So again, they're grunts. Oh, and infantry. They're just larger, and almost all of them are like this, where they're medium-sized bases. So, they're earthbound. Oh, real easy. So the unit strength is, again, just 1. It's just 1, right? So the equipment on these is going to be a little bit different. Let me minimize that. They generally can have shooting options. They don't always get shooting options. And there's champions don't get monster leaders, right? It's just nope. And so I don't have any exceptional traits picked out to go, this is what this is going to get. Anyway, it's just not something that I've done because I'm not sure that I want it to be an exceptional trait outside of the main rulebook. I want there to be race-specific other things like their weapons, their war gear options. Some of them will do some of the same things, like sensors, stealth, etc. Those are very similar. Cybermancy, basically, it's based on what your army is supposed to be doing. And by that I mean like what it generally does, like this army's better at close combat. It's just as capable of shooting, but you get in close combat and it can hurt you really bad. So, because it can give up some of that shooting ability to have close combat ability. Now, do I consider that unfair? No, because it's being paid for, right? You always got to remember, if he's got 8 units that can shoot you and shoot your tanks and then assault you and kill you, you might have 10 units because he has to pay for those, right? So you have 10 units that can do a reasonable job in close combat and can still shoot and can still, shoot both types of targets. So anyhow, it is what it is. So, anyway, so let's see what kind of armor. So generally, leaders have like a 5+, and champions have a little bit different. Now there's not like going to be like champion on champion combat or things like that. It just slows the game down, and that's not what I'm going for. So I want it to be faster than slow. Oh, but they get the heavy chin, which is a 4+ save. And generally they also get the same kind of weapon as the leaders do. But I'll try and explain the difference between the two. So, because leaders join everything, right? Where let's do this. Yeah. Basically, they don't come with a weapon. They do get a save, right? So we'll give them the Crystal Carapace for a 5+ invulnerable. So the exceptional traits, I don't really think he needs any. So I'm just gonna say none. And if it comes back that they, or sorry, they are, yeah, they're not part of the collective mind. Those are the leaders. The champions do cast spells, right? So they are that. So we'll just leave that in there. Cybermancer, whatever. And it doesn't really need to be specifically spelled out. I'm just putting that in so you understand why I'm doing that. Because some people will get confused. So, where the other one just says they can have one item from the War Gear section and up to one item from the CQB weapon section, this one gets an addendum. One light or medium AI or AT weapon. Yeah. Without the extra and. There you go. So basically they don't pay for that, but they have to pay for any options. So the leader comes with a pistol, pew, 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 has a 10-inch range. So basically if you're not within 10 inches, like leaders help when you're defending. And that's how they do. they generally don't do anything special. So anyway, but the champions can be gun platforms if you want them to be. You don't have to buy them for them. Like you got to think about it. The guy's free, right? If you want to just use the champion, you can't have a leader with whatever unit the champion's with. Okay, like leaders and champions don't mix. They can never be in the same unit. And they do different things. So if you want to buy a light or medium weapon, I should probably specify where it's from. Been from the ranged weapon section. So basically, they could have they can only have specific things. Okay. And let's see. Or okay. Yeah. So they can have the short range stuff. So the blaster, the stingers. They only add +2 to whatever you want to do. So And basically you can have your choice. If you want to have the ones that are cheaper, you can have them. They just have terrible AP. Like you can have the Spore Blaster and the Venom Blaster, and they'll only cost you 8 points. It'll give you +2 AT and +2 AI at up to 10 inches, right? You can have that. However, their AP is 6, but it only costs you 8 points. Or you could have the Barb Stinger and the Biotic Stinger on them, right? That's still, again, 10-inch max range, +2 AT, +2 AI. It's AP1 and AP2 respectively, but it costs you 9 and 8 points each, right? So more than double to get that, okay? And it's effectively the same thing, just to give you better AP value. Now, there's a bonus to that in that the way the game works, higher AP values get applied first. So if you only get one hit and you have a squad that you're with, and they're AP5, and you have another squad and it's got an AP1 hit, when you fire the AP1, the one weapon that has AP1, its shot is automatically assumed to hit, and that will cack a guy right there. Just bam, that AP1 shot gets applied. It's a much simpler system than what everybody else uses, where you have to roll all these different times. Just like, nope, this just gets applied. Anyway, so, and of course, and it can still have probably shouldn't call it an item, up to one weapon. Oh, yeah. So you can have an item from the war gear section. You can have a weapon from the CQB weapons options, and then you can have up to 1 light or medium AI or AT weapons, or up to 2 total. Basically, you can have 2 pistols, your choice, at your cost. Because like you could have a medium spike cannon, which could add +4 AT, and the option to have a blast. It's a 3-inch blast with it. It's AP5. However, it costs you 17 points for the medium version. You could just have +3 AT and have a small spike cannon instead. So, anyway, the options are truly up to you guys. You know what you want to do. Because you should probably be building your list with the knowing like who's good, what is absorbing the champions, right? Excuse me. Like what unit is going to be with the champions. As you see, you always get them. You know, so 1,500 points. Excuse me, on a regular game. You have these two. You have an 8 -1 and a 9 -1, and then at 2,000 points to up to 2,500 points, you have another 9-2. It's very rare to get a 10 -2, and it's done that way because these are epic scale games. And if you go beyond that, you know, so you go beyond 3,000 points, that's fine. You just go back to the beginning and get more guys. So in all but the most epic games, you're only going to have one of these, right? Because they're rare. But like you could play like a 5,000 point game, you know, it's a lot. But 5,000 points, this is 3,000, right? And then it's 2,000, so you'd have 2 of each of these and 1 of those at 5,000 points. I don't know why you would, but I know there's people that like doing that, and so I made sure that there's rules for you so that you can do that, because it's better to actually have more guys to do stuff with than to have the more powerful guys. It's different than the leaders. Leaders are, you know, because these guys are only leaders for their units. They don't help anybody else, which is why these guys do not have the abilities that the leaders do. So let me just make sure that I'm doing this right, because I set up rules, and so I have to check the rules to make sure I'm doing it right, which might seem silly, but yeah. So I should mark down, okay, that I leader. I know, it's silly. There. And yeah. Okay. So most armies, there's some exceptional trait that these guys get, and effectively this is free. Okay, within the game system, all the stuff that the leaders get, because everybody gets it, is free. And it's my job as game designer to make sure that the balance is there, so that one force over another doesn't have like much better leaders than the other ones. Okay, so I'm going to just go down here. And sure, we'll take the Urquitu. Oh, I really want to say that in Yoda voice, but that'd be embarrassing. So, all right, so we'll say Urquitu. So I will work out the bonding that I'm going to have them do because I won't. Because it's basically just like if you have a leader and he's mounted in a tank, he just replaces the tank commander. There's not a commander on these. These are monsters, right? It's just the leader. The monster's been upgraded to a leader. That's all. Um, and I'll sort that out later. Okay, how that's going to work. But all of them are restricted in the same way. Every 500 points, you can mount one person because monsters in this army are the same as vehicles in other armies, as tanks and stuff. They fulfill the same purpose. Um, anyway, the vehicles everybody else can just throw a guy in. Armies that use monsters for stuff like this will have it's worded a little bit differently, but basically it's you're part of that. And when that model is removed, that leadership ability that the model exerts from itself is gone. So, and since everybody can do this and should do this, I mean, like, you got to think about it. You obviously want to have some kind of balanced force going on. A combined arms army is based around that. Modern and hopefully in the future, future military tactics will be based on combined arms. Um, So you have a lot of leaders, right? And you combine them with the champions, you go, man, where do I stick everything? And it's like, well, the units that you want to have running around the enemy army, pulling off cybermancy spells in their midst, those are the ones that your champions are going to go with. With your leaders, like in a 2,000 point game, and again, this will overlap. If you do 2,500 points, bam, you get two more of the one of the shitty guys, or one of the guys that doesn't give you a bonus, but is just leadership 7, but does give you a leader. You stick them on your board edge and go, you can try to rally again. You take one of every one of those guys, and you would stick them into a monster leader. These guys right here would not be able to be upgraded because basically there are no monsters that are leadership 10. Like there's no units that are leadership 10. Period. They don't exist. There are no leadership 10 units in the game. If there's something that goes, oh, I'm leadership 9 and I can gain +1 leadership, and it's not because there's a leader, then I assure you you're doing something wrong because it's not possible. Or I've done something wrong. I mean, it's possible that's entirely possible. So anyway, so there's the champion, and really just filling out the basics is not really too difficult, right? There's not a whole lot you have to do. Now I've got some of these guys done. Okay. So let me get my nope, I don't need that. What I need is my conversion formula. There we go. Okay, so I have my conversion formula up. All right. So let's make that a little bit bigger. Okay. That's better. I want them spaced properly. That's all. Yeah. So yeah, so these guys obviously there. So let's go figure out if everything else is actually done. Yeah, so that one's done. I don't think the other ones were technically done. So let's see. Nope. Though really, yeah. These guys don't get linking because they're shitty. They're just throwaway troops. There's some troops that don't get linking because, like, they're just crap. That one does, so they can link in and out. Linking lets you do unit attachments with other models in your army. So these guys here, so one, think I'm going to do it the other way. One dominant Kinosaurus, yeah. Okay, so I got the strength. Okay, so he's not different. Yeah, and then for every 4 models, so basically it will be 2. May replace. Yep. Only one of each have been purchased. Yeah. And if you do number 9 models or more, then one more can get a weapon from the CQB options. And basically what that lets you do is, yeah, if you want to bring the max squad, then you can have an extra model with an extra close combat weapon to give you a little bit more punch in close combat. That's all. So yeah, so that's correct. Anyway, and they are not leaders. They have that. Okay. So they still pay 5 points for it, but they're not actual leaders. They get the specialized version for this, hive mind sort of thing. The collective mind that they have. Yeah. And basically you blow your brains out if, you try and fail. So who would use it? Probably some shitty little monster like this, right? These little bastards. And I do need to go through and redo the math on these, right? I'm just going through and basically just talking because it helps. This helps me, and I realize like nobody's paying attention, and that's fine. It helps me when I'm doing the design to go, oh, this is how I did it. So these guys are 7, so they would help those little guys if they didn't have a leader with them. So, maybe the leader died, or you moved the leader off, or you just didn't want to have a leader and you're just going to rely on the rest of the army to try and keep them intact. So it may or may not work out that way. But anyway, yeah. So let's go on to, and the reason why I need to redo those is because they're so cheap, they break the system because I didn't reprogram the system for the super cheap units. Like I expanded the points reductions, the points cost, etc. And I just have to reconfigure them and then redo the first faction primer and then this faction primer. Because basically what it really should be is I figured that 3 points per guy per wound for a leadership 7 guy with 1 wound, or really X, where X equals 1, and a 4+ armor save is fine. But I went through and I changed things, and I actually added dash, so no armor save, and 1+ armor saves. You still fail on a 1+, but basically AP2 doesn't negate you, right? That's really all there is. And I the actual cost per wound between conscript to elite is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Conscripts are 5, regulars are 7, elites are 9s. And you can't go beyond that because you can't actually spend more. Even if you have options to give you something, like if you were leadership 9 and you took an armor item to give you an extra armor, that would actually increase your skill, your leadership, because that's what that armor save is also tied into that. Oh man, why is it that I'm always getting? Why do people always gotta fucking text me when I'm streaming? Okay, there's something for me to look at. Okay, so anyway, so since I forgot about that, I have to actually do that work, right? And that text is, I actually have to go take care of that. So this is going to be even shorter than I thought. And so my apologies. But it's better to go through and fix the formula now. And so basically what my plan is if the cost is 3 points, then it can't be that if that's the way the models are going to cost. So it's just something I have to go through and fix. and I will do that, and I'll probably do that in a blog post, and explain my thoughts for it, because that's actually something that works better with text. So anyway, but yeah, you saw the way that I do, champions and leaders. They are different. They do different things, and basically, it's leaders are very ineffective in combat. That's not what they do. They magnify your units, and they make sure your units stay around. That is what the whole rule system is built, so that morale is a big thing. Having your leaders stay around is important. Not having them stay around is bad. So, not having your units stay on the board means they don't die. It's not like 40K or any other game where you get shot off the board and your units are destroyed. In mine, they just go in reserve. But you have a leader, you can save them if they hit the board edge. You can try and stop them from running away. I've had units that have broken and immediately rallied on the board edge. And it seems silly, but it's like, it just means the person's lucky, or you have a high value leader there and the other person's lucky, like they're doing just regular morale checks, no negatives, and there's a leader there, and I've seen someone repeatedly roll boxcars, and their leader breaks, and then they roll double ones, right? Not that you need double ones, but they roll the doubles, and so that, anything at that point from basically 10 or less, you're going to stay, and they roll that, and and then they roll an 11, and then they break, on their next time they get shot. Anyhow, it's just, it is what it is. So anyway, I gotta go and take care of that. And then probably Sunday I'll try to stream again and have everything fixed, or at least put a blog post up. So anyway, so if you have any questions, just visit the blog. Hit me up, yes, truthhurts.com. Thanks, guys. I'll see you later. Bye.